In this video, we're going to look at motor mounts for the Corolla FX16. If you have a Corolla FX, you probably have figured out that motor mounts are one, hard to find, and two, the ones that you do find tend to not be that amazing. I went online and to my local auto parts stores and I ordered every single motor mount that I could. Something that you'll see when you look at these mounts is that there seems to be just some few general designs that all of them share. Different names, different manufacturers, but they're all seem like they're coming from the same place. The three main companies that I saw that make these mounts is Westar, Anchor, and MRC. This one just came in an unknown box from the local auto parts store, but it looks like all the other ones. All right, let's start with the Westar EM-8375. This is the rear mount. And first off, I picked this one because in the pictures, it looked like it had a solid ring going all around. So I was hoping that it would be a little stiffer. Let's see how it does with this guy. Looks like it takes a pretty decent amount of torsion to get it to move, so that's nice. But the one thing that's kind of disappointing is I was hoping that there'd be more rubber there, because I could show you what online it was supposed to look like. In all the pictures for this mount, when you look for it, it looks like there's a lot of rubber. As you can see, it's not quite representative of what the mount really is. It's more rubber than I expected, but it's not like the picture shows. Okay, let's look at the other rear mount. This one is made by MRC. This one's got a little bit of wrapping around it. It was made in Thailand. That's where I suspect all these mounts come from. And this one from MRC, it's the AE8275. So, looks like this one has rubber in unique places. Let's check the torsion strength on this. Stick the screwdriver in. Oh, alright, that's pretty stiff actually. It's not too bad. That is actually pretty... wow. So these are the two rear mounts. This is the Westar, this is the MRC. The Westar is the softer one. This one is actually a lot stiffer. MRC is the better one to go with. I'm going to be installing this one today. Now let's look at the Westar transmission motor mount. Okay, looks like it has decent amount of rubber all around it. As you can see, it does have some areas where there is no real support here and just a few spots there. So when you torque this guy around, let's put the screwdriver in and test it. Ooh, that is squishy. That is a squishy, soft mount. But it does resist the up and down. Oh, that's a soft mount. My gosh. That sucks. This is the Anchor transmission mount, and by golly, it's the same thing. It's the same freaking thing. So supposedly a different brand. This is the Westar. This is the Anchor. I mean, look at that. They're identical. So that's something to keep in mind. Even though it's a different brand, it could be exactly the same mount, just under a different name. That's a bummer. So now let's look at the front motor mount. So this one appears to be the only option available on the market. Every time I've looked, this is the only one that's there. So here's a subframe from the Corolla, and it's a good thing I took it off to try to look at these, because I noticed that the front motor mount looks like it is tearing off, which is not good. And the rear motor mount, man, that one is looking bad. This is the one that I made out of polyurethane. I took one of the standard rear engine mounts, took all the existing rubber out, put this polyurethane mix in. I made sure to get this nice and clean. There was no rubber anywhere. I polished it so that way it would all grip and be nice. Oh man, it did not last. It just fell apart. Look at the condition that is in. Oh man, that is no bueno. Son of a bitch, come on. I've been driving on the new mounts for 2 weeks, and the Corolla has been better than ever. A lot was probably due to the broken rear mount and the torn front mount. Now, I made this motor mount myself, and I am very disappointed with its performance. This was my third attempt at making a rear motor mount, and it failed miserably. The symptoms were a thunking sound every time I'd get on and off the throttle, and occasionally I'd have a harsh vibration come through the body of the car. It was not very enjoyable to drive. Out of all the mounts, it seems that the rear mount is the one that takes most of the abuse. But the new MRC rear mount has been absolutely great. No more thunking, no harsh vibration, and the engine feels like it's part of the car now. The front mount I replaced with another one just like this one I took out. Now these ones tend to fail often, and they fail like that with the tear on one side. I made a full poly version of the front mount, and while it held up really well, the vibration was just too harsh. It was undrivable for everyday conditions for me. I stuck with the standard version just for the everyday comfort. But I might try the same mount only with window sealer in the gaps instead of a full poly mount. A full poly mount is just too harsh for everyday driving, but a combination of the rubber and poly might be a good in-between Goldilocks setup. Now with the transmission mount, something I didn't show in the video is that I actually did end up doing a poly rubber combo, and the results are good. The standard transmission mount rubber was just too soft. So I filled the empty spaces with polyurethane, and it's working like gangbusters. The mount still has some give without being hard as a rock. Since I've replaced the motor mounts, the gear shifts feel better, and the engine feels like it's part of the car. To recap, I'm running an unmodified front mount, an unmodified MRC rear mount, and a modified transmission mount, the one that I used polyurethane to fill all the empty gaps. The one mount I haven't talked about was the passenger side mount, and that one is an unmodified anchor unit, and that one's actually been fine. This is the best setup I could find for the AE82 chassis, so replace your motor mounts, check them often, and thanks for watching, and until next time.